Hey everyone, I'm just making this video because, as a lot of you know, I got a new insulin pump, and the more I talk to people, the more confused they seem to be about how it works. The other insulin pumps are pretty straightforward, but now the pump I have has no tubing, so I just want to show you a little video about how I change it and all that, and how it gets set up. So I just wanted to show you my old pump. So this is my old pump. This is the Animus Ping, and it has a tube. Not in it right now. There's no batteries in it because I'm not using it. And the pump sites are a lot different because there's a tube. So I have a spare one here. So this is the applicator for it. So I'm just going to kind of show you how it works. This is one I had laying around, and I don't need them anymore. So the tube, as you can see, is very long. Woo! It's actually, this one's 43 inches long. You can get some that are shorter. But yeah, so it's very long. And then this is the little site here, and you can see the little needle. So I'll just show you, I'm not going to show you on me. I'll just show you how they work. So you have to pull them back, and you literally had to push it against your skin and stab it in. And then there's a whole other process behind it. But yeah, those ones I found hurt a lot for me. Not all the time, but sometimes they hit a nerve and they would hurt. So when my warranty was up on my Ping, I decided to go with the Omipod. Now, the Omipod is literally just a little pod that sticks on your skin, and the needle goes in by itself. Well, you have to press a button on this, which is the PDM, and the needle goes in once you press the button. So I'll show you, I have a pod on. I'm going to take it off, but I'll show you what it looks like. So that's the pod, and it just sits on your skin, no tubing. The insulin's inside the pod. So I'm going to change my pod, and I figured I'll show you how it works. So first, I have my little handy dandy book here because I'm still getting used to it. So I have my PDM, I have my new pod with the little needle here, and that's how we put the insulin in the pod. I have my alcohol swab to clean my belly, where I'm going to be putting it, and I have some vials of insulin. I have two because one is almost empty, so you can see the line there, and then I have a full one. Okay, so first I have to deactivate this pod. If I don't, I could really screw up this one, and then it's garbage. And these things are not cheap, trust me. I'm not going to tell you how much they are. So I just have to turn on my PDM. My name's there. So then it shows the screen. So technically, I don't have to change it till 7 o'clock tonight, but I'm going to change it now because then it gives me time before I go to bed to figure out if the pod's working properly. So I go to Home, More Actions, and then I just go to Change Pod. It's probably going to be backwards, but so I select. So since it's on my back, it can't go through my body, so I kind of have to turn and point the PDM to my back. So if I press confirm, it'll begin the pod change. So I press confirm, and it's just deactivating the old one now. There. Beeped. It's ready. I can remove it. Now, normally I would try and use baby oil. I don't have any, so I'm just going to rip it off. Band-Aid. Okay. So, this is the pod, and as you can see, there's a little tiny needle, little plastic. It's plastic, so it bends. See? And before you stick the pod on, that's not there. It's actually inside, and it gets injected to you after. So I just wanted to show that so you can see what that looks like. A little bit freaky, but yeah. Okay, so I will be putting that one in the recycling bag. So I gotta press next. Now I'm gonna open my new pod. I find with these ones too, there's not as much garbage, which I really like. The other one, there was so much garbage and recycling. So here's my new pod, and I just put it next to the PDM, and it says, would you like to activate a new pod? I press yes. Now I have to fill the pod with insulin. So here's my new little needle. This looks like that. I just attach the needle. that. Does not go in my skin. Then I kind of just do that a few times, and then I fill it. I'm going to put about 100, almost 200 units of insulin. So the hardest part people find is getting no bubbles. I've been doing this for like 4 years. It's been 4 years since I got my ping, so I'm pretty much used to it. That one's pretty much empty. Put a new one. It's the same kind of insulin, and I don't like to waste insulin, so, because again, it's not cheap. So there. It's filled. Get some of the little bubbles out. If there's little bubbles, it's not too bad. But you want to try and get as many out as you can. So that's not too bad there. Now, my PDM turned off. Okay, so I have to fill the pod. The pod has a tiny little hole right here where the needle goes in, and I fill it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Slowly. See, there's 2 beeps, so that means it's acknowledging there's insulin in there. Okay, empty. Alright, so I'll press next, and this is going to activate the pod. And it's priming it, which I really like about this too, is you pretty much don't really have to do anything. You're pretty much just filling it with insulin, and you press buttons, and then you stick it to yourself, and you press another button. Whereas with this one, you had to do a lot by yourself. Like, you had to fill the cartridge, which was pretty much the same as one of these. I should put the cap back on. Which was pretty much the same as one of these, but it sits inside the pump, and then it attaches to the tube. You have to load it, you have to prime it, which means all the insulin has to go through this tube. And then you have to attach it to your body, and yeah, you get used to it. But this is just, I find, a lot more simple. But it took me a long time to learn how to use the Animus. It would take me about 20 minutes to change a site with that one. With this, but I got better at it. It took me like 5 minutes after. Okay, so prepare infusion site. Remove pod's needle cap, which is this plastic part. And adhesive backing. If the cannula sticks out, which the cannula is the little plastic needle, so this little thing is the cannula. If it sticks out, I have to throw out the pod, which sucks, but Omipod usually replaces them if there's something wrong, okay? So, I'm going to put it on my belly, so don't mind me. Just going to stick it, I'm probably going to stick it like right here. So I'm just going to get that ready, use my alcohol swab. Some people don't. I didn't with the Animus, but I'm probably going to start doing it with my pod. So I'm just going to wipe my belly. I do a big area just in case. And I let that dry. Biggest thing they said when I was in training is don't blow on it, because that's just spreading a whole lot of bacteria, which makes sense. So doing this is okay. Don't mind me doing my thing. Okay, I'm just going to go through this. So I've done all that. Now with the pod, you have to watch how you place it. You can place it on your belly, your legs, the back of your arms, even your bum, your back. I like using my back and my belly. I haven't tried my arms yet because I don't know how they work. Okay, so that's pretty much dry, so I'm just going to pop the cap like a pop bottle. Take off the adhesive. And when you lay it down on your stomach, it has to go horizontally, whereas on your arms or your legs, it has to go vertically. So I just stick it on like this. Rub the adhesive down and try not to push down too much. Okay, so it's stuck. There's no needle in me yet. Okay, so the pod is applied, so I hit next, and then I hit start to insert. So it says please wait on here, and it's counting down on my pod. And there we go, it just inserted just like that. It's all done. I honestly didn't even feel it. I felt nothing at all. So honestly I felt nothing. You feel a little bit of like I don't know, it's like pressure almost, but it doesn't hurt at all. So yeah, that's what I have to do every 3 days. So my settings are automatically converted to the pod. So, and then it asks, is the cannula properly inserted? Where you look on the pod, you probably can't see it in the video, but there's a little tiny square here. And if it shows pink in the little square, that means it's inserted properly. So I'm good. So I hit yes, and I'm all done. It's pretty easy. Definitely a lot better than needles. I felt like I should show you some of you guys, because especially family members, like I had my aunt yesterday asking me about it, and she's a nurse, and she had no idea what was going on, because a lot of people don't understand how the insulin sits in the pod, not in the pump. Like, well, it is technically a pump, but it's not sitting in this big thing here. So everyone's different. Some people prefer the pumps with tubing. I liked this one. It was a good starting pump. I was happy I did start with the tubing pumps, so I knew what I was like. I just knew everything. But the tubing was a pain in the butt, because my cat, I've woken up a few times in the night and she's chewed the tube in half, which means I'm not getting any insulin, and I wake up with a raging high blood sugar, which makes you feel pretty crappy. That's why I decided to go with the pod. I have a 90-day free trial. I've been on it for about a week, and so far I really like it. So hopefully it still goes well. So I hope you learned something new from this. And if you have any other questions about diabetes or whatever, I am not shy to share anything. I really don't care. Okay? So don't be afraid to ask me. But yeah, I hope you learned something new today.